Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I am joined here as always with my partner in crime, Sam Schneider, Primetime Sports Talk. Go ahead and tell them where they can find all your stuff.
Absolutely. You can find me at Buy and Sell You on Twitter. You can find Primetime Sports Talk at Talk Primetime or primetimesportstalk.com.
There you go. And this is another episode of Jungle Talk. Yeah.
Woo! Who dat, baby? Let's go.
We always forget the primetime sports. So I was trying to get that in fast. We're also going to get in something I always forget, and that's subscribe. If you just hit the subscribe button, and that's all we ask.
What does that mean?
That means you go down to the little, I think over here, I always get turned around. It's right there, and hit that subscribe button. And
what does that do?
That means you're going to get alerts.
Is there any way to get like notifications?
Yes, you hit the little bell.
Our videos show up.
Yes, hit the little bell when you hit the subscribe, and you'll get alerts.
And that notifies, but that's Mark. That has to cost a lot of money.
Costs nothing. Just support the channel. That's all.
What?
I know.
It's free.
The full max package for free. So
who day, baby? Who day?
What a deal. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to be previewing the Jets game this week. You know, it's crazy. We're going to talk a little news first, but I just want to put things in perspective for everybody. We are going into the third game of a 3-game road trip. And who would have ever thought we would have the opportunity to come? We're going to win all 3 if we win this week. I cannot remember. I was going to go back and check, and I got tied up with work and stuff, but I cannot remember the last time we went on the road and won 3 in a row. I can remember, I think in 2015, we had, winning. We went 2-1 on the road. I'm going to go back and look. If one of the listeners or viewers wants to put it down in the comments, let me know when the last time we went on the road for a 3-game road trip and won all 3, because this is going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. And usually I come to these videos stats in hand, and this is the second video in a row that I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. That's how good I'm feeling about everything.
Yeah, no.
But that would be one of the things that I would have looked up, and I'm with you. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
couldn't tell you the last time we won 3 in a row.
It's
on the road.
That's Aaron Rodgers territory. You're getting into. They're talking about no Devontae Adams tonight, and they're 6-0 without him. But that's stuff Aaron Rodgers. So this is a huge accomplishment. Let's touch on a little news before we get going. There's been some trade rumors. People have talked about Xavier Howard on Miami, that we need to get him before the trade deadline. I just want to say although Howard would be a great addition to our secondary, and we probably would never have to put Eli Apple out there. He just signed last year a $75 million extension. We would be picking up that extension. And how would we pay Jesse Bates if we were going to pick up that salary? So my attitude is save your money and pay Jesse Bates, because that's going to send a much better message to the locker room and reward a homegrown player rather than going out and getting Howard. Unless there's a great 1-year rental, like if Mackenzie Alexander became available for 1 year, we would welcome him back for this season. If the Minnesota was looking to move him, which they're not, but that type of a situation is really the only thing I could get behind in terms of trade.
I agree with that, and even the Mackenzie Alexander is obviously we had him before, and he was outstanding for us.
Right.
It might not be the best example, because basically that role has been taken over by Mike Hilton at this point.
Right.
So you don't need Mackenzie on the outside. You want him in the slot. But I agree with you. Not only do you not want to pick up that enormous contract for Xavier Howard, but also what sort of message are you sending to Jesse Bates if you do that? Like at that point, he's just looking around like,
hey,
bro, I'm waiting.
Hello, I'm right here. Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Right. Remember me? Yeah. Best safety in football.
You spent the entire offseason
right.
On social media and everything, telling everyone that I am the best safety in the league, and then decided not to pay me.
Right.
And I know it's the difference of probably 1 more year and probably, a couple mil guaranteed that he's looking for, that that is separating everything.
Right.
Which once again, and we've talked about this before, which once again is, I I think we both agree that that's pretty silly.
Yeah.
Um, if he wants 2 million more a year and one more year guaranteed, I'm like,
Give it to him.
give
Right.
it to him.
Well, hopefully they can work something out at the end of the season before we have to do the franchise tag, because you can roll in that franchise tag money, but you can watch previous episodes. We've talked about this. Unless there's a steal on a 1-year rental, I don't think we need to give up our draft capital for next year, because we can pick up another premier lineman, linebacker, that kind of thing. We can pick up somebody. So I'm not up for moving capital unless it's a perfect rental. And I am in the win now mode. I think we can make a deep push if we get to the playoffs, or what I should say, when we get to the playoffs. So
right. Well, and I think there's something to be said for getting some more depth on the offensive line. I don't think we need to. I no longer think we need to save the offensive line. I don't think we need to trade in order to. There's no glaring issues on the offensive line right now, which is, I mean, when was the last time we said that?
But I would like to get another big body in there. If the right one was available, I wouldn't be opposed to getting another body in there. So if hopefully it doesn't happen, but someone does go down, we had a quality piece to plug in, and we weren't going back to somebody that can't deliver in crunch time.
Right. So. Well, and sure. And I'm not saying that the offensive line is like, top 5 in the league. I'm not, trying to pretend like that's the case, although it is far, far better.
Oh, and it's maturing every week. That's why I don't see this team is just kind of gelling, and every week gets better. So I don't think we need
Jackson
to be big
Carman
players.
had a fantastic game last week, and that was a huge step up. And Jonah Williams has been, and Riley Reef, the two guys on the end, the 2 tackles, have been just lights out this year.
Yeah.
Which is outstanding. And even at left guard, Quentin Spain, I feel like, what really do you have bad to say? It's not bad.
Unless Frank Pollock says, hey, we absolutely need to do this. Let's let him keep doing what he's doing with these guys, because we're seeing the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I don't think I'm saying add depth, but not at the cost of
our future.
Yeah, and not at the cost of coughing up a bunch of draft picks or whatever at really any position at this point.
Right.
Listen, we came into this season thinking we just want to get a little bit better. And we're sitting here talking about playoffs.
We're talking about we are. And the reason I wanted to touch on this, and I'm not telling you to go out and bet, but the over under on win totals for the season going into the year was 6.5, and I have money on it. It's now 10.5.
I do too.
Okay, it's the Super Bowl odds were at 150 to 1. It's 27 to 1 right now. The AFC was 100 to 1. I bet it, I think 75 to 1. It's 13 to 1. And the AFC to win the AFC North was 4.5. I have, money on that. It's now 2.3. We're the same odds as the Browns. The Ravens are still the favorite to win the division, but we're the same as the Browns. We're both 2.3. So that just tells you how things have changed.
And the favorite to win the division just got the crap kicked out of them.
Yes, by us.
By the orange and black.
In their net. In their net.
But I mean, listen, we've had a bunch of good games, and people were like, "Oh, hey, the Bengals, they're looking a little bit better." And when we beat the tar out of the Ravens on Sunday, all of a sudden, I know everybody that's watching this watches football and highlight shows and First Take and listens to Stephen Smith and everything else. They know that like the entire football world is paying real good attention to what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I already consider that a success.
Yes.
Like we could even fail to make the playoffs because we've talked about
no, don't even say it. Go ahead.
We've talked about the fact that our schedule's backloaded and that it gets harder in the back. Although now when you look at it, maybe not so much.
Right.
Um, but you know, people are taking notice, and that's in my opinion, that's already a success for a team this young. Broken record take. I do it every week. Fourth youngest team in the NFL. Say it with me, kids. Fourth youngest
Youngest
team
team
in
in
the
the
NFL.
NFL.
So you know, at this point, you're playing with house money.
Right.
You know, I hate to piggyback on your on the Vegas angle, but we're playing with house money right now.
Right. And what do you do
With
when you're playing with house money? You
oh,
start to run
you
it
bet
up
it
so
all,
that you
man.
can
You
get the
lay it
wheel,
down.
not bad at all, but you try to run it up on the house money. So you go home with a wheelbarrow full of money.
That's right. That's right.
And that's why we're thinking playoffs. So
Playoffs.
yeah. So let's get
We're
into
talking about
we're going to do the
playoffs.
playoffs. I'm just trying to win a game here. And
Playoffs.
anybody who's too young, go back and watch Mora's comments. It's got to be on YouTube at 100 different
YouTube. Jim Mora Colts playoffs.
Right, and
you
will get the video.
It's arguably one of the greatest football clips of all time.
Absolutely.
Followed closely by
Denny Green.
They are who we thought they were.
Denny Green's meltdown after the Monday night when they should have beat Chicago. So
Jim Mora playoffs. Just Google it.
All right, so let's get in. There is some bad to talk about. Stuff that I'm not I'm not feeling great about. So I'll just jump right in. This is obviously a trap game. We're now, because of last
week. That's your broken
right, but this is definitely a trap game. We are we now have a target on us. People think we're, the perceptions change, so do expectations, and now teams get up to beat us. So we have a target on us. I want to remind everybody that the Jets lost in week 3 to Denver 26-0. Okay. And then they followed that up the next week by beating the Titans. So we have to keep that in mind, that they just got their 50 burger thrown on them by the Patriots, who I think Bill Belichick runs it up because he's still, stuff that happened 25 years ago when he was with the Jets. But still, they just had a 50 burger thrown up on them.
Plus a division game too.
Right. But
Bill Belichick is always like, dude, if it's in division, I want to crush.
Right.
I want to crush.
So we want to do that too. So but I want everybody to bear in mind, that's why this is a trap game. This team was embarrassed last week. They're going to come out. Now, granted, they don't have Zach Wilson. We're going to be playing Mike White from Kentucky, who had decent
I almost said Jack Black, but
no, it could have been,
Mike White. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a trap game. So we need to stay focused. Now, good teams crush the opponents when they're supposed to crush them. That's what we should do this week. If this game's close, I'm going to be very disappointed. We're a 10.5-point favorite right now. I've seen different commentators talk about we should be a 14 or 15 or 16 point favorite. They said, one commentator said, I'll tell you, it's Mike Florio, because I know you don't like him, but he said the Bengals should be offended that they're only a 10.5-point favorite. And part of me is thinking, that this should be an easy win. We should be resting starters in the fourth quarter this week. We should be taking advantage of doing that. So,
right. And I think that possibly that line would balloon a little bit if it was in Cincinnati. Obviously we know that the home team always gets a 3.5 point, 3 point advantage. Points, we know that. So really, this is a 14-point game, or a 13-point game,
right?
And if it was in Cincinnati, might be 16. I don't know. In the NFL, it's hard to install someone as that size of favorite. But I agree. I mean, I think they should be offended. And you know what? All that does is just lead right back into what we want, which is we want that chip on our shoulder. We want that thing that says we're still getting a little doubted. We're still getting a little doubted. And Mike White, I mean, bless his heart, he played, not even a half, maybe a half last week
And,
against New England, had 200 yards
yeah,
ish,
20
one
for
touchdown.
32, 20 for 32, 202 with the touchdown, but they were down like 30 points
I think he had,
at the
I think
time
he
he
had,
got it.
I think he had 2 picks too, didn't he?
I didn't write down his picks. I just put that in my
I
mouth.
think he had 2 picks as well, but that was his first NFL action ever.
Right.
And he's going to start the game. And I think it should be, I think it should be noted. And I know that we're kind of getting off track on what we don't feel good about, what we do feel good about.
Right.
But I think it should be noted also that, the Jets went out and traded for Joe Flacco. And a bunch of people in Bengaldom are saying like Flacco knows us, maybe that's not such a good thing. You know what? He's like 7-7 career against the Bengals, 13 touchdowns, 18 interceptions.
Uh,
Those are not good numbers.
First of all, Flacco didn't practice either day. So since they've acquired him, but it just shows you the dysfunction of the Jets. Flacco should have been signed. They could have gotten him cheap before the beginning of the season. They should have
got him for free.
Well, they should have had him on the roster for Zach Wilson to have a veteran presence there to kind of mentor him, be there. It's not about playing on the field. It's about being able to come over and talk to him on the sidelines, being in the meeting room. If the Jets were really thinking about Zach Wilson's best interest, Flacco would have been on the roster before the start of the season. That just shows you the thinking of the Jets. So,
Mark, are you suggesting that Mike White is not giving that sort of I can't even do it with a straight face.
You can't because it's funny. Yes.
Are you suggesting?
Yes, I'm suggesting that a guy who's never taken a snap
isn't the guy that Zach Wilson needed?
No,
as a backup.
Right. Well, say what you want to about Flacco. He did win a Super Bowl. Okay, he's been there at crunch time. There's stuff he can, and it's about work ethic and things like that. But I would love to have Flacco in the game. He's a statue back there with our new defensive line and the pressure we can take. If you saw what we did to Aaron Rodgers, Flacco, they should have an ambulance guy sitting there on the side of the field ready to get Flacco's corpse off the field.
Forget about Aaron Rodgers. Let's just go back 4 days to Sunday.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
Because Lamar Jackson is one of the most elusive quarterbacks in the National Football League. And the Cincinnati Bengals were in his face on almost every single passing down.
Yeah.
5 sacks. Just I can't even count.
It was like 6.5 or 7 pressures or hits on him.
Just all over him. So you're gonna tell me that I should be scared about Mike White? And at halftime when they make the change to Joe Flacco, I should be scared.
I don't even think they're going to make the change. He hasn't even taken a snap with this team. You got to remember.
My face is going to be really red if Mike White actually wins this game.
Oh,
but I don't think that's going to happen. And I hate to sound like, a cocky football fan. I'm not trying to be that person because on any given Sunday, and they're at home. So you got to give them credit. You know what I mean? And
they did beat the Titans.
And their defense is not bad. So, I hesitate to talk a bunch of junk, but it's hard not to be excited about the Bengals right now. So, of course you get a little carried away.
Right. Well, I did. And the other last thing I had on my list here was Marcus May. I have him on my fantasy team. He is a quality defensive back. They franchise tagged him. He's playing under the tag this year. But this is a quality defensive back. And the other thing is we get to reunion with Tyler Kroft. So who I saw that
what
see
does
him on
that
there.
Mean?
Limited practice. Wait, well, it's just an ex-Bengal. We have this thing with ex-players, Nick Vigil did very little this year, but what little he did against us in week 1. So
yeah, but Tyler Kroft has been relatively unknown since he even left.
I know.
Really.
So I'm just mentioning.
Honestly, I didn't even know he was playing for the Jets.
I
remember he went to the Bills.
I realize I'm reaching for stuff on the bad. He did go to the Bills and then he traded down. So, so that's all I have.
I'll say this: the one other thing on the bad, and it's not even really that bad, is the Jets. their running backs have actually done really well this year. Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, uh, they've got like a stable back there, and it's you never know who's. They've got Tevin Coleman, who's like
Yes.
90.
Who did not,
Um,
and Tevin Coleman, who did not practice because of a hamstring injury either day. But
right.
that could be just like, like
He might have broken his hip getting out of bed for all I know,
right.
um, but they've got a great stable of running backs. But I'm saying that that's a bad thing, but at the same time, I'm also saying, that doesn't really concern me the way this defense is played, the way this the front seven of the Bengals has played. We've shown that we can stop the run. So that doesn't really concern me that much. And I think what we're going to need to do is just sell out against the run and just dare Mike White to throw the ball.
Dare him to attack our secondary, which I think is stellar. So
Yeah.
go ahead. You Bell, Bates. I mean, not to run through a
might be a
Louisier,
stretch, but okay.
but you look at the guys back there. I trust them against Mike White, and so and Anarumo just needs to listen. If you could confuse Lamar Jackson, you should have the mushroom cloud emoji out of Mike White at the end of this game.
Right.
If you could just do 20% of what you did to Lamar last week, if you could do that, that's going to be more than enough to confuse this guy.
I agree. I think the only like my only hesitation is since Mike White is new, since that was his first game last week. He's never started a game. He's a relative unknown. So you never know when a guy further down the depth chart might actually be way more talented than you were expecting.
Right.
And I'm not saying that I think Mike White is going to come out and, look like Mahomes or look like Montana or look Kenny Anderson or anything like that. But,
right.
But it still gives you that kind of
that's why I would prefer Flacco. We know what we have in Flacco. We know how to this guy. I would take him all day long. I don't know what fans are thinking because he would be the stationary, non-mobile quarterback we would destroy.
Oh yeah, I would way rather Flacco was starting this game because we'd kill him. We'd kill him.
Well, he'll get to start other ones down the road. I can't think that Mike White is the plan for the rest of the year, but you never know. The Jets may be playing for that first pick again,
right.
We're trying to get the first pick.
And that's what I mean. He's a relative unknown. So what do we know? Who knows? Maybe he's going to come out, throw the ball around like he's playing in the AFL. I have no idea.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Honestly, and I don't know if the Bengals do either. I think the Bengals are like, they're looking at college tape on this guy.
That's all they have.
College tape
in the last week. Yeah.
Because there's no pro tape on him.
Right. So we can transition. We've already actually been in the good for most of this video.
Yeah, both back and forth.
There were blurred lines this week. I apologize in advance. Right. We blurred the lines, but on just every aspect, we're better on special teams, we're better on offense, we're better on defense. I mean, this is a game that like I said, I'm hoping that we're resting starters when the fourth quarter starts, that Brandon Allen is in and
which we did against the Ravens. We did that against the Ravens.
Yeah, so why not be able to do that here?
It felt great.
So, and you're not going to I don't think you're going to have a real raucous crowd there. Jet fans are kind of beat down. We'll just see how it plays out, but we're better at every aspect. We're a better football team. We're better coached to everything. So I can't, like I said, it would be a huge disappointment if this game is even close.
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think you have to, address the elephant in the room, which is, as Bengal fans, we've seen this way too often where we're clearly the better team and let someone else in, let the other team back into the game.
Right.
And don't, it's like we talk about during a game, we talk about, we want to, step on the throat or push down push the pedal to the metal. And not play conservatively. And I think that also goes for your schedule as well. When you've got a team that you should beat, you should beat them, and not just beat them, you should beat them good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I want to see. That's what I'm really hoping to see out of the Bengals this week, is for them to say, this is a team we should beat, and we're not just going to beat them, we're going to beat them good.
Beat them good, and let's get some of our backup players in to get playing time, because even
Sure.
though it's mop-up duty, that's quality time on the offensive for some of these backup offensive linemen and things like that. We get them in. Get Irwin some, playing time. Get Boyd or whoever we're taking off the field. Chase, get them off the field, and let's play our backups and let's get them, because that's how you become a better and a deeper team. And
Agreed.
so, all right. Well, with that, what's your prediction for the game?
Well, I did my picks for primetime sports talk. It went out today at 4:30.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay, I'll have to look. Okay, go ahead. But
No, it's fine. I'll just tell you.
good.
I'll put it in the comments for anybody that's interested in looking, because we pick every single game. I'm picking the Bengals to pitch a shutout.
Okay.
I'm saying it's going to be 27-0
Okay.
in favor of Cincinnati. They're going to go into New York, and they're going to
Let them down.
They're going to address the run. Mike White can't beat them. Joe Flacco can't beat them. 27-0. And for anybody that's watching, you guys know I'm pretty realistic about my stuff. Like,
Right.
I have a hard time being a homer, but
Today,
not only am I being a homer this week, but I feel like I'm being pretty smart about it. So I'm calling a shutout in the
All right.
NFL. I'm calling a 27-0 game.
All right. I thought about doing the shutout thing, and it's what I want. So that's why I didn't do it. And I would love to see it happen. And I hope you're right.
Because the reverse jinx.
Well, I'm in a season-long pool where you pick your teams. You have just a certain amount of points to spend, and one of my teams is called Mixing It Up, and it has the Bengals, and you do get an extra point for a shutout. The Bengals got 2 points last week because they had a win over 17 points, and they got the win. So had that been a shutout, it would have been 3 points. So I'm all in favor of the shutout, but I think that we're going to bring backups in, and I'm expecting to run away with this. I've got us down for 35-9, and here's how I came up with the 9. Well, they'll get a field goal at some point. They'll have just something will happen, a penalty, a bad PI call, whatever, and they'll get a field goal. And then in mop-up time, they'll get a touchdown, but they'll go for 2 and not make it. So that's how I got the 9. But by then, it's the game's already in hand, because it was 35-3 when you gave up the touchdown with 3 minutes left. So that's my score. But I'm fully behind your shutout theory. I would love to see it happen. So,
like I said, I'll put that article in the comments for anybody that wants to look at the other teams or the other games as well, and my explanation of why I say 27-0. But speaking of the comments, I just want to remind everybody again, since you already started, listen, we've picked up a lot of subscribers lately, and that's awesome. And Mark and I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please bang that subscribe button, hit that bell, and comment. Mark and I, we respond to a lot of comments. So, throw your 2 cents in there. Let us know what you think, so that we can respond to you and talk back.
And also, we've got a great group of people that watch the show, and you'll get into chatter with them too. So they'll respond also. So absolutely. And like I said, if somebody wants to look it up, go look at the 2015 season, go back to and see when the last time we won 3 games in a row. If we have, like I said, I can't remember when we did
on the road,
3 games in a row on the road. So yeah, this is going to be huge getting home. If we do what we should do this Sunday, coming home, and we left on this 3-game road trip. We were talking about 2-1 and all that. And now here we are, looking at a possible sweep. So
yeah. I love all the interaction everybody has on these videos. I think it's really, really fun. I love to talk to you guys. Mark does too. And we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. So,
keep it up, guys.
Keep it coming. Keep sharing. Keep clicking. Let's do it.
All right. Well, with that, we will be back with a recap right after the game. Hopefully, like I said, everything plays out the way we said. I'm hoping for that shutout point, but I'm going to say, hoo-day, everybody.
Hooday!
All right. We'll see you after the game Sunday. Take care.